Well, everyone, it's time for us to go ahead and take a look at the iPhone 11 Pro and compare it against the iPhone 11 Pro Max and see how both of these phones hold up in 2022. Now, these are probably one of my favorite phones that Apple's ever made, and when compared, it's really hard to figure out which one is the better one because they both have their advantages. If you want to pick up either one of these phones, though, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there. You can help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can definitely tell the iPhone 11 Pro is a much smaller phone than the 11 Pro Max, and this was my preferred size. Back in 2019 when both these phones came out, I chose the 11 Pro because it was just a form factor that I really liked. You had a 5.8-inch Super Retina OLED display on this thing, and it was a very good panel. I've said this for so many years now. It still holds up very good. You have the notch, which isn't that big of a deal to me. You have a really nice looking panel. And honestly, this is still probably one of the best phones you can buy for the price tag. I think for everything considered, it is a really good looking phone, especially on the front in my opinion. On the iPhone 11 Pro Max, on the other hand, not on the other hand, this is still a really good phone too. You have a bigger 6.5-inch panel. Now, if you're thinking about the size, really the size is one of the bigger things that are different, but also the battery sizes are also massively different as well, so keep that in mind. But the front of this phone still looks very good. It's almost the exact same thing as the 11 Pro. The resolution is very high. This is also an aftermarket display, and this one still looks very good too. This might be original, actually. I don't know, but I thought it was aftermarket. But regardless, both these phones look great, and I will definitely say size is the biggest difference here when it comes down to it. Now, in terms of the thinness and thickness, even when I put these phones on top of each other, just look at how much bigger the iPhone 11 Pro Max is. Now, in terms of thinness and thickness, you can kind of see that the iPhone 11 Pro is the thinner one, and the smaller one. The 11 Pro Max, actually, they may be the same thickness. I kind of feel like the 11 Pro Max is a little bit thicker, but they kind of have the same thing going on too, so maybe not that big of a deal. On the back, we have triple camera setups on both, and almost the exact same camera setup. I think there was maybe one more thing going for the 11 Pro Max, but regardless, both these phones are very good in terms of the camera setup, and they're almost exactly the same. Now, come to think about it, I don't really think there's a big difference between these two. There could be, I'm not 100% too sure, but the one thing that I love about these phones the most is the frosted glass backs. These glass backs on these phones are so beautiful, and they are just probably one of the best things in the world, in my opinion. Both these phones hold up very well in that glass back, form factor, and in my opinion, these phones just hold up so well in general. Lightning ports at the bottom, IP certification on both phones as well, and still one of my favorite phones in general when it comes down to it. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. Now, in terms of longevity and software, because both these phones came out the same year and they have the exact same internals, they're both going to be lasting the same amount of time. When we look at phones like the iPhone 6s Plus, iPhone 8 Plus, all these phones, they last exactly at the same time as their bigger size and smaller size counterparts, including the iPhone 7 Plus and 7, and those ones had differentiating internals. These ones are pretty much the exact same things on almost every single forefront, so they are going to be lasting exactly the same amount of time. So just because the 11 Pro Max is bigger and it's better and it's whatever, it's going to last the same amount of time in software, which is not a bad thing. Both these phones are going to be supported with software for quite a long time. So even if you buy an iPhone 11 Pro right now, you're still going to be here for a long time in terms of software as well. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there too. Now let's go into a speed comparison between both these phones. The iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro Max both have that Apple A13 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one's the faster one here. Okay, there we go. All the apps are cleared out in the background, as you guys can tell. So let's get into it. Let's do phone calls, 3, 2, 1. iPhone 11 Pro, kind of faster there. Music, 3, 2, 1. Two different panels, which will load up this one. I think the iPhone 11 Pro is still very fast, but both of them did fairly good, so we'll just hop out of this one. Let's do health, 3, 2, 1. Okay, 11 Pro faster, settings, 3, 2, 1. I think the 11 Pro was again the faster one there. Let's go and get into Apple TV, 3, 2, 1. iPhone 11 Pro Max faster. 11 Pro a little bit slower. App Store, 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 11 Pro Max, the faster one here. 11 Pro, a little bit slower. Again, not a big deal, but it is, one of those things to keep in mind. Hopping out of this one, let's go and get into podcast, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go and hop out of here. Let's go and get into camera, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go and take a photo, 3, 2, 1. 11 Pro think was faster. Let's open it up. Okay, didn't open up on the 11 Pro. Let's go and click on the edit button. And let's go and try to put something on it. Okay, both did pretty good there, not a big deal. Photos, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I don't know why I always get these pop-ups on these phones. Let's go and hop into here. Let's go and get into here. Let's go and get into here. Okay, almost exactly the same thing. Mail 3, I don't have it. Let's go and get into calendar 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go and hop out of here. News 3, 2, 1. Okay, hopping out of here, let's go and get into some other apps. Files 3, 2, 1. See, again, I don't know what's going on with the display of some of these phones. Let's go and get into shortcuts 3, 2, 1. Okay, hop out of here. iTunes Store 3, 2, 1. Okay, 11 Pro Max was the faster one. Let's go and get into this folder, and let's go and open up calculator 3, 2, 1. Okay, pretty much the same thing. Let's do voice memos 3, 2, 1. And it's going to hop out of here. And that kind of covers up most of the applications I want to test. I mean, we kind of see not a reoccurring trend at all. I would say most of the time it seemed like it was a little bit faster or smoother on the iPhone 11 Pro, but it's still very close between these two. I honestly cannot tell if there's a big difference in terms of speed, and I don't know if it's because of the bigger display on the iPhone 11 Pro Max or not. I think when it came down to both of these though, both phones are very fast. I don't think, again, there's one that I would necessarily pick over the other one in terms of speed or performance, but just keep in mind that if you're buying either one of these, you're getting the same exact type of phone in terms of the performance segment. They're almost identically the same in terms of that, so you're really not going to be getting one bigger phone in terms of the other in terms of that standpoint. Now, is the iPhone 11 Pro Max having the higher potential? Well, not really. I mean, it has a higher resolution display sometimes, and maybe with that bigger display, it has more pixels to push as well, so that's one thing to keep in mind. So I would say the iPhone 11 Pro and the 11 Pro Max should theoretically be the same. Today, though, we kind of saw that the 11 Pro was kind of doing really good, so that kind of covers it up there. Now let's go and hit on the cameras, which I personally, like I mentioned before, I love both these phones' cameras, and they are almost identical. I don't know if there's a big difference. Like I said before, I've tested these cameras thoroughly, but my favorite thing is they both have that triple camera setup, which is so important. A wide, ultra-wide, and telephoto lens. The 11 Pro Max has a wide, ultra-wide, and telephoto lens as well. 4K at 60 on the back and 4K at 60 on the front. Now, this iPhone 11 Pro was the exact one that I used, and I had a great time with it. I think it was easily probably one of the best phones of all time. And with a phone like this, you're getting still a very solid quality lens. The viewfinder on this phone seems a little bit smaller. I mean, it is smaller compared to phones nowadays, especially this phone. But I do like having the capability of zooming out and zooming in, just like how you can on this phone. And I think this is still a very solid camera for sure. But with something like the iPhone 11 Pro Max, it is pretty much in the same exact ballpark. I think a phone like this still holds up very well in that standpoint. And as I mentioned before, when you're getting a phone like this, the viewfinder of this phone is insane. You can just see pretty much everything within, a mile distance within this phone. So not only that, you can also zoom in a ton too, and that is something that both these phones have. So it's not like the iPhone 11 Pro Max has really anything that the 11 Pro doesn't have, and that's one of my favorite things about this phone. You have portrait mode, you have the standard video mode, and I will say at the end of the day, this is a very solid camera on both these, and I don't really think one phone wins in that area either. It kind of takes us to the end of the video, and if I'm going to be honest, I don't really think there's a substantially crazy winner here. I think the iPhone 11 Pro Max is the one that I would probably recommend if you are comfortable with the size. Then by all means go for this phone. You're getting a bigger size battery, a bigger phone, and just a bigger playing area of messing around with the device. This is something that's really cool, and personally I like having a bigger phone like this. I mean, I think it's really awesome. But there's also phones like the iPhone 11 Pro that hold up so well it's not even funny. Like I said, this is my favorite phone to recommend to people because it's a smaller form factor. It's not compact, but compared to phones nowadays it is fairly compact, and a lot of people like this size, and that is something I really do like. I love having a phone like this that I can recommend to as many people as possible because it's small, it's somewhat cheaper, and it's still supported with software. But that's where both these phones kind of lie at. I think a majority of people I would recommend buying the iPhone 11 Pro. It is a much safer phone to buy than the 11 Pro Max because you end up buying this phone, you probably think it's too big, then you end up getting this phone anyway. So you might as well go for this phone. But I think if you're comfortable with a big phone, the iPhone 11 Pro Max is by far a no-brainer in my opinion. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.